What's up, people? It's your man, Urban Lover, reporting from your mama's basement, sipping on a little bit of water. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this, the finals. You know, everybody was coming out stating that, you know, LeBron James ain't had no help, making all these excuses. You know, LeBron James, you know, he's carrying these players, this and that. I'm going to share something, man. And the reason why I'm going to share something, because I want y'all guys to realize this. All right. It's, at the end of the day, it comes down to coaching and the ego of the player. You cannot sit here and tell me that LeBron James didn't have no help. LeBron James did not score the whole 100 points of every game. You know, whatever they average at the end of that game, LeBron James didn't score the whole 100% of those points. The biggest problem with the Cleveland Cavaliers was this. Tyronn Lue is a yes man, and LeBron James have a bunch of players around him that are yes men. There was no other alpha male on that team. Everybody looked towards LeBron to see what LeBron was going to do. And that was the benefactor of them losing. Why do I say this? Okay. If you look at the game where they played the Pacers, they went to 7 games with a team that was led by Oladipo, a person who never really been to the playoffs, never really carried a team, and yet they put him on the brink of almost elimination. But that's where experience came in at, and LeBron prevailed. Same thing with the Celtics. Took them to 7 games, led by 2 rookies, a couple journeymans, and an all-star power forward / center and Horford. But towards the end, because of experience overshadowing that which players who never been before, LeBron once again prevailed. But it wasn't just LeBron. Some of them games, them players that a lot of people said that, you know, were trash, you know, they're not a supporting cast and all that, they helped LeBron win those games. If you look at the game against the Golden State Warriors, game 1, with this cast of players that fans and media say that could not win, because ain't nobody expect LeBron or them to win, you know, to win the series. Let's be real. Nobody expect them to win the finals. But we did expect them at least 1 or 2 games. Game 1 was actually Cleveland game. It was Cleveland game. And a bunch of mental breakdowns caused them to lose that game. Game 3 was Cleveland game. They was up by, what, 6, I think, with 3 minutes ago. Mental breakdown caused them to lose that game. And that's why I don't try to get into the Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James comparison. Because 3 minutes on the clock, if you claim you ain't got no star players and you try to indirectly, you know, throw your teammates under the bus, but not trying to be politically correct without doing it. At the end of the day, with 3 minutes left on the clock, the ball should have been, this one the ball should have been in your hand, and this one you should have been, you know, doing whatever you can in order to set up players or take it to the rack. But anyway, I don't even want to get into that. My thing is this. LeBron has players. It's really based on what do you mean by he don't have help. Do you mean he don't have a superstar? Or, you know what I mean? Because he had players. The biggest problem was they just didn't fit the system. That was the major problem. And that way it comes down to coaching. But like I said, Tyronn Lue is a yes man. And so is these players. And they didn't have enough alpha male to actually challenge LeBron. All your alpha males are gone. The Dwayne Wades, Isaiah Thomas. You know, these guys are gone. Derrick Rose, you know, the Irvings. All these guys, all these alpha males who would just take the ball and run, you know, and actually go. These players are gone. So you got a bunch of role players that will actually listen and answer to LeBron. Now, if you watch the game, Cleveland rarely got on fast breaks. When he got on fast breaks, 9 times out of 10, LeBron James had the ball. And when LeBron James go fast break, 90% of the time, he's going coast to coast, going straight to the basket, looking to score. Not really looking to pass, looking to score. When he'll grab the ball off the rack or get the rebound or whatever it may be, he'll look for LeBron and pass it to LeBron. Or he'll bring the ball down. But they always, 90% of the time, ran a half-court set. This right here allows the defense to set up and get ready to actually figure out how can they defend LeBron. Simple as that. They never really caught the Golden State Warriors off guard. And this is where the Houston Rockets excel at. Because the Houston Rockets, if you're going to run Golden State offense, Golden State type offense, you got to catch them off their back. Because remember, they run a small ball. Houston Rockets used Capella, but in that last game, when Chris Paul was out, they didn't use Capella enough to actually dominate the inside. That should have got Draymond Green thrown out, you know, got him fouled out, but they didn't utilize it. Instead, they stuck with the 3. Same with the Celtics when they're playing Cavaliers, they in the last couple minutes, 3 minutes in the game, when they were down by like 6 or 7, something like that, they decided to shoot threes instead of attacking the basket. Sometimes attacking the basket, getting fouls are much more presentable than somebody shooting threes. But anyway, that's where experience comes into play. LeBron James, the reason why he had a monster game, because he was the only player out of everybody in the playoff that would actually attack the basket, besides the New Orleans Pelicans. New Orleans Pelicans, majority of players were attacking the basket, but when it came to a shootout, that's where they kind of faltered. They got into a shootout and they wound up losing, their playoff. But anyway, the Cavaliers, basically their players that they had with LeBron did not fit the system that LeBron was trying to run. LeBron James is almost similar to how Westbrook run his offense. And this is the main reason why both of these players are, they're good players. But if you're going to run that type of offense, you got to put players around them that benefit those type of players. Shooters. If you look at Cleveland, Kevin Love, Kyle Korver, jr.Smith, probably your best shooters on that team. Right? All right, Kyle Korver came off the bench. I think that he should start over jr.Smith. I think he should, to get him into a rhythm, jr.Smith should have been one coming off the bench. Instead, they decided to go with jr.Smith. Now, like I said before, the up-tempo thing is what what Larry Nance and Jordan Clarkson excel at. The up-tempo type of game. They like to run. Jordan Clarkson, if you remember from my Laker family, you remember when Jordan Clarkson was here, when they tried to get him to play half court and all that, he didn't really play good. Jordan Clarkson's best years were actually this previous year before he got traded, and the year when he finally started, when Byron Scott let him start and he was running. But then after a while they told him to slow down. But once they allowed him to start running again, in that in this year right here, before he got traded, you could see him actually coming into fold. Now the thing is, when he goes to Cleveland, like I said, they run a half court set. It gives defense enough time to set up on him. He was basically barely even used, to his ability that will actually benefit the team. Because I thought sure that he'll go over there, LeBron will actually help him and mentor him. But instead, all I seen him just barely coming off the bench. Same thing with Rodney Hood. Remember, he was averaging 17 points on his previous team. He gets here, they barely use him. Why? Because they do not know how to utilize these players. And that's my biggest problem, is that you got to learn how to utilize these players according to their strength and weakness. You cannot put them in a system that will not benefit them nor work for them. This is the main reason why all three of them guys, even Larry Nance, look like a shadow of himself. Larry Nance personally had a couple good games, when he was starting, or when he was coming off the bench, because he was getting a lot of minutes. Because like I said, he's a utility player. He can fit whatever. But at the end of the day, up-tempo is still his type of game, because Larry Nance played real high around the rim. Catching lobs and stuff like that. But when you go in a half-court set, Larry Nance is less effective, because that means now he got to post up, which he's not good at. So it kind of not be beneficial to him. So the thing is, LeBron James ran mostly an ISO style system. That's all it basically was, ISO style system. Everybody is all you can do is go back and watch it. They all run to the perimeter, sitting there waiting for LeBron James to see what he's going to do. Barely any cuts, barely any pick and rolls, barely any backdoor moves. Barely any, they just basic ISO plays. That's all they were doing. And like I said, when the ball come off the rim, LeBron James get the ball. When he run, if you're going coast to coast, most time he's going to the basket himself, or he'll come across the court, hold the ball for 12 seconds, and basically after the 12 seconds, then he'll start looking to make passes and all that. So the ball movement is another big thing that actually hurt them, because they were barely even moving the ball. LeBron James, yeah, he averaged like 10, 12, 13 assists and all that, but he was the only one really having the ball. And at the end of the day, they started double teaming him, because they knew that most of these players either ain't going to get the ball or they're not going to make the shots, which makes sense, because why? Golden State did their research. Remember, they Golden State Warriors played the Larry Nances and Jordan Clarkson. They know what these two guys can do. But we also know what Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance can do as well, but they just didn't fit that system. And that comes down to your coach. And that's the reason why I say at the end of the day, when you have a coach that's a yes man, it's hard to run a system when you're allowing a player to demonstrate and dominate according to how he wants to play it. At the end of the day, like I said, people over and over again, he had players. Anybody that sit there and tell me that he didn't have support and all that, it comes down to coaching. Because you can go back, for my old fans, you can go back and look at the Houston Rockets back when it was Hakeem Olajuwon. Remember that, when it was Hakeem Olajuwon, before Clyde Drexler came there. It was a bunch of role players. Kenny Smith, Vernon Maxwell, Otis Thorpe, Robert Horry, Sam Cassell. So so all these were basically role players. Wasn't nobody on that team with Olajuwon averaging over 20 points. Nobody on that team averaging over 18 points. Vernon Maxwell, years before, was doing pretty good, but then he dropped down to like 14. Him and Kenny was like, I think 14, 15, or something like that. But because the system was ran so well, Olajuwon wound up winning the championship. Simple as that. He wound up winning because they made sure they got players to fit the system. So when Olajuwon got the ball down low, he kicked it out to shooters. They were right there, and they ran a lot of pick and rolls too. So Olajuwon was a good passer. You had people, had Kenny Smith, Vernon Maximum cutting behind him, doing pick and rolls, cutting to the basket. Olajuwon kicking it out to him. So when fans sit there and tell me that, or not me, but when they sit there and say that LeBron ain't had no help, no, it's the system you run. Based on the system you run, is the main reason that could be the win or the loss of how your team, wind up playing. And the system they ran, they should have went out and got players that fit LeBron, shooters. They didn't do that. Instead, they got a bunch of, they got young players. That's what they plan on. They were planning on doing, getting young players, but they didn't get nobody to fit that system. Like I said, you only had 3 shooters. And if you want to run with that, and you want LeBron James to be the vocal point, well, the point of the offense, which he's going to be anyway because he's LeBron James, then you got to give him players to fit the system. And if you were getting players to fit the system, trust and believe, they probably took Golden State to 7 games. I believe that. That's what I believe. Now, to beat Golden State, no, I don't think they were going to beat Golden State. They probably had a bad chance beating the Rockets than Golden State because Rockets, they rely on their three-pointers. Golden State, they have a lot of ball movement. They don't just rely on the threes because they get a lot of easy layups too from nice pick and roll screens, nice sets, and good ball movement. But the Cavaliers would have had a chance to beat the Rockets compared to them beating Golden State Warriors. Now, personally, I believe they could have won 2 games. Yeah, they could have won. I think they could have won 2 games. They would have went 4-2. They'd have won 2. But you seen Game 1, they had a chance to win that. Game 3, they had a chance to win that. But at the end of the day, like LeBron James said, these guys are mentally tough. And in reality, if you listen to his listen to him talk on when he up on the podium, he talking, and you listen to him, he basically already mentally checked out too. The same way DeMar DeRozan did when they played Cleveland that year when Cleveland was beating them. He mentally checked out. When you sitting there, you already given Golden State, say, listen, they got, two MVPs, bunch of All-Stars on their team, former All-Stars on their team, couple coming off the bench. These guys are mentally already into the game. And you got players, there, and he was just giving them mad praise. So he was already letting you know that he already was defeated. He was already defeated, and then and that's my thing. Well, I'm not gonna draw this video out, but that was the biggest thing at the end of the day, is that the system that they had was not benefiting towards the players that they brought in for LeBron. Simple as that, because if you look at LeBron, you look at Westbrook, they almost ran the similar type of offense. Westbrook don't have no shooters, same thing with LeBron. He had 3 shooters, and when people say that, he had no help in this, and I look like this, well, Kevin Love was averaging 21 points. This guy came back from a concussion. He was trying to do whatever he can to help LeBron. So you can't sit there and say LeBron didn't have help. At the end of the day, Golden State is just a good freaking team. I mean, simply put, Kevin Durant freaking went off. Kevin Durant carried that team. So I just want to say that. At the end of the day, like I said, it's not that he didn't have help. It's just that they didn't utilize the players according to what they could have did on that floor. That's why I say when I go back and look at the Houston Rockets, it was just basically Olajuwon. But they made sure they had players around Olajuwon to benefit Olajuwon. When you look at LeBron, at the end of the day, you know that you ain't had no shooters like that, but yet you want to contend and think shooting threes was going to be the beneficial of you winning games when y'all could just had everybody attacking the basket. And jr.Smith, besides jr.Smith, Kevin Love, and Corbett, which are shooters, but Clarkson, Hood, LeBron James, Hill, all those guys could have been attacking the basket, drawing fouls, getting Golden State in foul trouble in order to bring in other players that's deep in the bench, to make their bench go deep. But instead, they really won't get nobody in foul trouble. Only one who really drive the basket was LeBron, and the ones that actually could drive the basket, like Jordan Clarkson and the Rodney Hoods, they didn't even play. But, the fan base, they're going to say, oh, well, he didn't have no help. No, he had help. He just didn't have no superstar or another alpha male to actually challenge him. So that's when they say he don't have no help, he had help. He just ain't had the players, or the system that they had in place just didn't fit the players that they brought in. Simple as that. So it's the system and the point of emphasis that LeBron James, like I said, ran a half-court set. You allowed the defense to set up. Y'all didn't really run no up-tempo. Y'all didn't do anything that really benefit the players you brought in. Because all 3 of them players are named Hood, Clarkson, and Lance are up-tempo type players. You didn't really, you didn't utilize them. So you only can blame yourself. Can't blame the players, man. Even if you would have lost, you still could have came away with like 1 or 2 wins. Y'all just got swept, man, and y'all mentally checked out. Anyway, it's your man Herbal Lover. Like, share, subscribe, get in the comment section, tell me what you think. I can't buy that LeBron didn't have help. He didn't have a superstar, but he had help. He had enough help in order to win the 1-2 games. Not saying he was gonna win, but when fan base, the media tried to chew out all his teammates and said that these guys suck, they're trash, he ain't had help. I can't buy that. That's what social media does. It destroys, it just destroys a lot of things, man. When you go back and you look at like I said, you go back and look at the Houston Rockets when they won the championship. It was just Olajuwon and a bunch of shooters. It wasn't nobody dropping 26 points. It wasn't, you know what I mean? It was just Olajuwon. And Olajuwon was the first, I think Olajuwon, according to my era, Olajuwon was the first player that actually won with really no help. Because I can go on and say, oh, I can name a bunch of teams that had 2 or 3 more superstars. And I'm going to make a video to that as well. Because I want to also talk about, this myth that Miami Heat, that LeBron James and them were the first ones to actually start this superstar movement. That's a myth to me. I mean, I'm not, like I said, social media, I don't follow that bull crap to a T, only because they try to throw a lot of garbage out there sometimes and a lot of fans just grab it. But anyway, y'all take care, have a blessed one. I love y'all. Be safe out there.